this video we're going to talk about the 2022 Austrian Grand Prix. We'll start with Ferrari. Obviously Charles Leclerc got P1, won the race, had multiple little tussles with Verstappen. Overall he showed really good pace on the tyres, but near the end of the race with a couple of laps to go he had a throttle issue where he couldn't really work with the throttle pedal properly. Before his win at Austria this season he hadn't won a race for I believe 3 months, so obviously he's going to be happy to finally get back on the top step of the podium. His teammate Carlos Sainz didn't have the same fortune because around lap 58 near the end of the race he had a mechanical problem with the engine. The engine sort of blew up inside the car and unfortunately caused flames to emerge at the back of his car that spread. Fortunately Carlos was able to get out of the car. Not only was he in third, but he was also closely behind Max Verstappen, potentially could have overtaken him by the end of the race, but then that reliability issue took him out of the race. A really bad bit of luck for him. Moving on to Red Bull, Max Verstappen P2, second place. He said he felt there was a bit of tyre degradation and he didn't really have a lot of traction or grip, perhaps why Charles overtook him multiple times in the race, but still to finish P2, fastest lap as well. Obviously that's not a bad result. Moving on to Sergio Perez. For me he was very unlucky because obviously he had that opening lap incident with George Russell where they made contact. Perez went onto the gravel, picked up a lot of damage on his car to the point where there was no point continuing to race, so Red Bull decided to retire the car. He was extremely unlucky because you could see that he had the outside line over George Russell. He was literally past him, but then obviously Russell made contact and then Sergio went off the track. That really ended his whole race. Moving on to Mercedes, yeah, obviously George Russell coming home in fourth. He picked up that penalty, went for a pit stop, ended up around 17th after the penalty and pit stop, but he did a good recovery to go from roughly P18 to P4, picking up 12 points on the board. In terms of his teammate Lewis, he came third place. It's pretty good considering he started the race in 8th position. To go from P8 then finish P3 is something you're probably going to be happy about, getting on the podium. McLaren, arguably the 4th best team on the grid, must be pretty satisfied with their result, getting double points finishes with Danny Rick and Lando Norris finishing P9 and P7 respectively. I also want to talk about the Vettel and Gasly incident because it's extremely similar to the Russell and Perez incident at the start of the race. The way that Vettel had the outside line similar to Perez. Vettel got clearly past Pierre Gasly just like how Checo was ahead of Russell, and yet the contact still happened, causing Vettel to go off track just like Checo did